Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on your screens. It's episode 35 of the show right here on Shaw TV. We've got a very, very special treat here for musical guests on this show. As you see right behind me, Canadian recording artist Daniel Wesley is right here in our studios in Shaw TV. We're going to hear some more songs from him on a feature interview with Andrew Roberts later on this hour. Now see, on this show, we have two of my three favorite things. We don't have hockey, but we do have great music. And we've got beer. Yes, we're going to have Harley Smith from Nanaimo's Longwood Brew Pub right here, fresh from the Great Canadian Beer Festival. And I wish I could be hosting this beer tasting segment, but Tara Keeping actually won the rock, paper, scissors game we had early, so she'll be talking beer with him. Again, beer with Harley. Later on, I'll talk motorcycles with Guinness. Bob Fenty is here with one of his regular Rotary segments, along with Mr. Ken Hammer. We wanted to call the segment Hammer Time, but apparently that's already been taken. Ian Holmes is here with to talk politics with Allan Warnke, a political science professor at Vancouver Island University. But you know, if you're more into running for exercise than running for office, stay tuned for information on the upcoming and important Run for the Cure fundraiser. We'll also get you in the mood to dance, dance, dance as we feature, well, not me, if you've ever seen me try to dance during my old clubbing days, horrible stuff. Instead, no, we have Holly Bright in here, the artistic director from Crimson Coast Dance Society, as well as the Vibe Dancers. We'll also have a chat with a well-known Nanaimoite who was recently recognized for her contributions in the fight against diabetes. And finally, to let you know about Cultural Days, Kim Plumley, who has amazing hair today, I'm telling you. She'll be speaking with representatives of the Nanaimo African Heritage Society. So batten down the hatches, matey. It's time to set sail with the show, and it's live right here on Shaw TV.
I'm so into the arts here in the Mid-Island region. I'm so excited because we get to talk about cultural days that are happening on the 30th of this month. I'm going to put this down so I can actually see. So today we're going to be talking about cultural days, and I'm joined by SHALEEMA GANTT, and I also have DEVLIN WYATT with us, and they are from the Nanaimo African Heritage Society, and they're putting on this great day-long event. How are you two?
Excited. Great, thank you.
So we have masks. You guys have masks. Why are we having masks for the cultural days?
Well, Cultural Days is, I was excited by the Venice Carnival that they do in Italy, and it just struck me as something that we could dress up. And the wonderful thing behind the mask is you can be anybody you want to be. You can dress up and be anybody you want to be.
Fabulous. So I understand you're also, for the Cultural Days in advance, you're doing a mask workshop?
We're doing a workshop on the 22nd of September. It will be at the Multicultural Society. We invite everybody, the whole family, to come down, make masks. The Venice masks are usually white, but we want to put a lot of color in as well. And we're going to have a wonderful workshop there, teaching people how to put these masks, these wonderful masks together.
Brilliant.
From 11 till 5, and it's by donation.
So that's 11 to 5 on the 22nd? Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay, so Devlin, I wanted to ask you, where and when is Cultural Days taking place?
Cultural Days takes place on the final Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of this month. Mm-hmm. So that would be the 28th to the 30th. Right. Now we're having it at Diana Krall Plaza, right, which is Nanaimo's Art de Carnaval. That'll take place from 11 o'clock to 5 p.m. And it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, lots of costumes, bistros. There's going to be a fashion show with Afro Couture by Lillian O'Brien. Right. And yeah, we invite the whole community to come out and just experience this taste of Venice. The community,
yeah. So I also wanted to ask you, Devlin, you're wearing a costume. It's not his regular gig. It's not his thing. What is it why are we bringing costumes into the Cultural Days?
Well, cultural, it's about dramatics, it's about fun, it's about fashion, it's also about the costumes is that we do a lot of themes. Last year was Picnic in the Park. This year it will be about performing art and visual art. And so, as I said, the theme came from the Venice Carnival, and we just thought it would be wonderful to dress up in the 17th century costumes and wear the white mask, and the whole theme behind the 17th century dress up in the Carnival in Venice.
So you're really encouraging play?
We're encouraging play. It's right before Halloween. It gives people a preempt to dress up. And of course, this is avant-garde. So you get to be very avant-garde and at your best.
Great. So what else will people get to see and do? We were talking a little bit more about fashion. You're bringing quite a bit of fashion in. Who else is coming?
Well, we have a wonderful designer that's coming from Vancouver, and her name is Lily O'Brien, and she does Afro.
Culture shock and Applecross too.
Thank you, thank you.
And don't forget, we're having a modeling audition on September 20th.
Oh, that's right. So we can get beautiful models to come in, male and female, correct? And have them come out and try in costumes and do the show, do the walk.
Yes, we'll be doing the designers by Lily O'Brien, as well as we'll have costumes depicting the Carnival, and lots of fun.
So I understand you're going to have a whole bunch of things for families. So they're going to have food and entertainment.
Face painting, lots of entertainment throughout the day, dance groups, musical groups. Fashion shows, and lots of food and lots of fun.
Exactly. So anybody can come, and it's absolutely free, correct?
We invite the whole community and other communities around us to come out and enjoy.
Really exciting times. You get to get your mask on, you get to decorate, you get to play, and really enjoy our culture in this community. Right?
Yeah, this is our second annual Cultural Days. As everyone knows, the Nanaimo African Heritage Society puts on Black History Month every year for the last 12 years. But we've just adapted the Cultural Days celebration, and it started last year here, but it's nationwide.
We're excited. So our Nanaimo's Art Carnival family event, worth checking out, absolutely free. You can check out Nanaimo African Heritage Society.com for more information, and we're going to head over to Tara and talk a little bit about Jacqui Kaese and what she's been doing.
Thanks, Kim. And again, here with me is Jacqui Kaese. Welcome and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Sarah.
Jacqui Kaese is a local acting coach here in Nanaimo and also a mother who has learned to cope with juvenile diabetes because both of her sons have been diagnosed with the disease, and through that has been a spokesperson for the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation and a recent winner of the prestigious award for the Volunteer of the Award, for also known as the JDRF. So
that's right.
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
I know, it's an awesome honor.
So I want to know how, besides your sons being diagnosed with it, how you got involved with the organization and when? When did you first get involved?
Well, my sons are 18 and 20 now. And it's our 10th year. I've been involved with the organization for 10 years. And my husband and I have raised over $1 million.
Yes. Wow, well done. In the 10 years, over $1 million.
Yeah, over $1 million in the 10 years. And I think essentially because of my background in the entertainment industry, I knew that I was a person that could make a difference. And I knew that the island, we were growing in statistics in terms of the kids that get diagnosed. There are about 500 families now in and around the Nanaimo area that suffer with this disease. We have to remember that it's a life-threatening disease that takes 24-hour care. And so the sad part about that is that if you're not aware and you're not educated, then drastic things can happen.
So let's go back up a little bit about your story. How did you know, oh my goodness, there's something wrong with my children, and how did that happen? So people at home know.
First of all, my 8-year-old started to have constant thirst. He would drink. He would look at the flower pot on the table and want to drink the water. He went through constant bedwetting. He would crave sweet things. People would say to me, why does he want to eat so many sweets and so much candy? It's just this, when the pancreas shuts down and the beta cells start producing insulin, then these symptoms start to happen. The normal blood sugar ranges between 4 and 8, and when Jake went into hospital, he was 55. And so he was really quite seriously ill. So we spent a few days in Nanaimo General, and then we went over to BC Children's. We were there for a week. We had to get educated on food, nutrition, taking insulin shots, finger pricking to test your blood sugar levels, and general maintenance. And this is what the families do every single day.
So educate us a little bit more on, because wow, you've lived through it for 10 years. The difference between type 1 and type 2, and is it more prevalent in children to have the type 1 or the type 2, or?
More and more children are unfortunately now being diagnosed, and The other scary statistic is that if we lived in a country in Africa, then they would only last for 2.5 years before they would die. But the difference between type 1 and type 2 is type 1, you are insulin dependent, you need insulin to live. Type 2 is generally brought on by a sedentary lifestyle and can be cured if you eat well, exercise, and look after yourself. So generally, a lot of older people get type 2.
So thank you for that. So we're running out of time here. I can talk to you a little all day about this. Your events, because you raised over $1 million, yes, and you do this with your events. Can you just give us I know you do.
We do sell-out events at the golf course. We have Shots for Kids that we do every year. We do the Promise Bowl in Victoria, and we do the Gala of Hope, which is Tanamera. And every year they're a sellout, and every year we raise, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars. So. Wow.
Well, thank you so much, Jacqui. I mean, I wish, of course, anytime. I wish we can have a follow-up and whatnot. And again, congratulations on your award. Can you just plug in the website again if people want more information about
JDRF.ca, Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation.ca.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much, Jacqui. And we're going to go back to Bob, who's going to talk more about Rotary.
Thanks, Tara, and we're live again talking with Rotary, as I mentioned, Tara mentioned, today with a little bit of help from Ken Hammer, who's with the Daybreak Rotary Club. We're going to take you on a real quick trip to a beautiful little community in Ghana called Sunyani. And Ken Hammer, welcome to the show. Glad to have you with us. And you were there in Ghana. Tell us a little bit about that trip that you took to Ghana and that school in Sunyani.
Okay, Bob. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. I think it's a great story that perhaps some listeners would like to hear about. I've been to actually Ghana 6 times. And one of the things that we established over there was a Rotary Club. And so Rotary has been a part of Sunyani, Ghana for a number of years, and we've started a number of projects there. So.
Basically, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Ken, but wasn't it originally the RDN went over to deal with some garbage issues that were happening in Sunyani, and that permeated itself into the school, and we took it on from there, and am I right?
Yeah, I think the Regional District of Nanaimo started a project there on waste management back in 2005, 2006. Another factor in this Rotary getting involved is that Vancouver Island University started a project there in about 2007.
Near and dear to you too, isn't it?
Well, I'm an instructor up at VIU, so it is near and dear to me, but we were doing a project on environmental education. Regional District of Nanaimo was doing a project that related to waste management.
All tied together.
All tied together.
So how did Rotary then really get committed and involved with this? There's all kinds of things that happened for the school. Tell us a little bit about what Rotary did for that school in Sunyani.
Sure. Well, as part of the two projects with RDN and VIU, Sunyani residents came to Nanaimo. And from that, I have to give credit to Rotarian Ross White, who actually approached someone that was doing a presentation at his Rotary Club and asked them if they'd be interested in a literacy project. And so really that was the seed of all our work with this one school in Ghana, was when someone from the regional district in Sunyani, Ghana, visited the Rotary Club in Nanaimo.
We've added computerization, I understand, as well to the school. What else have we done for that school in particular?
Well, there's been a number of projects. We started with literacy, we started with providing books, we started with providing bookcases, and 6 computers. So that was the element, I guess, of literacy. But since then, we've had probably 5 other projects, and we went to a security wall, which actually...
Around the school?
Around the school. It actually had
My understanding was it was at a crossroads in the community, and there was some undesirables that were sort of getting into the school ground.
Well, there was a lot of problems with a wooden rickety fence. Animals were wandering in and out, eating the vegetation. People were wandering through.
Sorry, Ken, but a tremendous amount of time has been gone into this project, and a lot of money as well too. And I think up to date, any ideas what we're at right now in terms of how much money we've spent?
Well, roughly, I think close to $100,000
wow.
In building the security wall and equipment. We put in a new latrine. We provided malaria nets. We provided whiteboards for the school. It's basically transformed the school.
You know, it's incredible, you know, and I guess the main thing that I can think about here, and we're out of time, Ken, really we are. There's so many more things I want to talk about, but I guess the essence behind this whole project is that these kids now are going to get a wonderful education, and hopefully, maybe someday, they'll become our next world leaders. Oh. So yeah, and I'm sure that's going to happen. So Ken, thank you very much for being on the show with us today. And now, let's go over to Daniel, and it's going to be me or you, or I'm going to sing, or no, I'm not going to sing. It'll be you. Back to you, Daniel.
Wake up, by sunny's here. Cloudy days are nowhere near. Does it feel the same for you? It means so much to me. I'm surprised that no one else has come along and stole your heart. There would be nothing more for me if you were never there. 'Cause it'll be you when the money is right. It'll be you when the bank is tight. It'll be you when the sun goes up. It'll be you when the day turns night. Quiet girl from the old country, sweet red eyes that hold me in. Skin so soft that you have to touch, feel the way I do. Oh, oh. I'm surprised that no one else has come along and stole your heart. There would be nothing more for me if you were never there. 'Cause it'll be you when the money is right. It'll be you when the bank is tight. It'll be you when the sun goes up. It'll be you when the day turns night. It'll be you 'cause you're so damn true. It'll be you, no one does it like you. It'll be you who can break my heart. It'll be you, never be apart. Well, it's something that I can't explain. We were meant to be. Oh, 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 oh. You make our home so beautiful. There's nothing more I need. 'Cause it'll be you. It'll be you. Wake up, eyes, the sun is here. Cloudy days are nowhere near. Does it feel the same for you? It means so much to me. It means so much to me. 'Cause it'll be you when the money is right. It'll be you when the bank is tight. It'll be you when the sun goes up. It'll be you when the day turns night. It'll be you 'cause you're so damn true. It'll be you, no one does it like you. It'll be you who can break my heart. It'll be you, never be apart.
All right, that is Daniel Wesley performing It'll Be You live here in the Shaw TV studios. So amazing to have him here. And again, he'll be back in about 15 minutes here on the show with more music and an interview with Andrew Roberts. You got to check out, of course, Andrew, he's a fairly worldly guy. I love tons of great questions. But if your idea of worldly is getting Chinese takeout from the grocery store once a week, well, perhaps you should consider a couple more options for sort of opening your eyes to what's going on this little planet of ours. And one way that you can do that right here in Nanaimo without having any air travel involved whatsoever is to check out up at Vancouver Island University the Nanaimo Global Film Festival happening Friday and Saturday, September 28th and 29th. This year's festival is featuring stories about people around the world who are reinventing the world in their future. It's kind of a celebration of activism, people who are fighting and finding their way to a more sustainable planet. Now, it's going to be more than 30 films featured over the 2 days here at the Film Fest. If you're up on the campus, check it out. They're in buildings 355 and 356 with screenings in the evening only on Friday and all throughout the day on Saturday. Advance tickets for the Film Fest are available at Van Isle Video, the Green Store, the Vancouver Island University Students Union, as well as at the door. There's a couple of other different pricing options too, including some for low-income patrons, as well as some for the full festival or just half-day passes. So for more information, make sure to check out the festival on the website. NanaimoFilmFest.org is the website there. And now we're going to keep a bit of a Vancouver Island University connection going right now, as Ian Holmes is going to be speaking with VIU Political Science Professor Allan Warnke. Ian, let's send it over to you.
Thanks so much, Matt. Honored to be joined by Allan Warnke, as you mentioned, political science professor at Vancouver Island University, a brilliant political mind. And Allan will be here to talk a little bit about local politics, also the provincial picture as well. So much going on politically here in this province as ours and locally as well. Allan, thank you so much for joining me here today.
My pleasure.
We'll start with the local scene, mid-Vancouver Island here in Nanaimo. Some interesting things going on with... You have John Rattan in his second go-around as mayor at the city of Nanaimo, and a couple of things. He wanted to institute a hotel at the Vancouver Island Conference Centre. That's a big part about what Mayor Rattan would like to bring in, and also a direct passenger ferry service between downtown Nanaimo and downtown Vancouver, seen as a very important project. So that's proving to be a bit of a challenge. There's economic factors involved there too. What do you read into that aspect of what's going on right now at the city, Allan? It's obviously a bit of a struggle with bringing those two things in specifically online.
Well, Mayor Rattan, and as a matter of fact, anyone who wants to pursue local politics, either at council or at the mayoral level, they have to really think about the future of Nanaimo. So every now and again, this linkage between Nanaimo and the mainland, or just cruise ships generally, what's the state of that, and how can Nanaimo play a role here? That's all really a part of what the leaders face in Nanaimo. Nanaimo, is, as we all know, is still expanding, despite the fact that recently we've got some numbers out that the British Columbia economy has taken a bit of a hit and so on. It's in the slide and so on. That does not necessarily mean that in our own backyard we can't do something that can really build up our area.
Yeah, and that's a part of the strategic plan that the city is working on right now, bringing online, is the fact that the location of mid-Vancouver Island is very favorable as opposed to a lot of other locations on Vancouver Island in terms of bringing investment to Nanaimo. So the location, something that could perhaps help the city moving forward with these two initiatives specifically?
Yeah, I mean, already Nanaimo has the reputation of being a hub city, but I think that will even become more acute in the future. So, no, as I see it, this is what politicians locally here in Nanaimo have to think about: the future of Nanaimo, the future of essentially the central part of Vancouver Island, and where North Vancouver Island fits in all this and so on. It's an interesting future that we face here.
And those two projects specifically, the big hotel at the conference center and also this passenger ferry service downtown Nanaimo to downtown Vancouver, the city of Nanaimo economically, they're just you know, it's tough to leverage those dollars to make that happen. You need prime economic conditions to make that happen. So right. The city may get flack, hey, why isn't this happening? But just maybe elaborate, Allan, on the challenges. There's there's outside forces at play here to make these two massive projects a reality here for Nanaimo.
Oh, to be sure. I mean, there are the economic challenges throughout North America, and each and every city and community is sort of struggling as to what do we do in our own community to really overcome some of these economic challenges. But I will say this, in my opinion, Vancouver Island is still a very attractive area throughout the entire continent, and so there will be a lot of attention paid to us. Admittedly, it's not going to be a boom period. It's not suddenly, Nanaimo and area is not just suddenly going to take off and become a really booming place or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. But every politician has to think about its future, because we have the potential here. And so we go through these cycles where we think about what is our downtown going to look at, what is the role of Nanaimo in relation to the lower part of British Columbia, or indeed the entire Pacific Northwest. Those are critical questions in our community here.
Recently, a cabinet shuffle at the provincial government level, and a local MLA, Ron Cantillon, left out of a cabinet post, despite the fact Cantillon announcing he will run in next May's election. That's what Premier Christy Clark was looking for in terms of bringing in new cabinet members with a bunch of people exiting the provincial government caucus. So from your aspect, you're surprised, Allan, that Cantillon left out of the inner circle of Premier Clark's government?
I am surprised, because Premier Clark evidently had made it very clear that she wanted to know who was going to run again and who was not, both in her cabinet and her caucus. That's normal for the last phase, you might say, of an election cycle. But I am surprised that since Ron Canalan had made it very clear he wants to run again, therefore it would have sort of been appropriate for her to say, okay, I have one experienced person here, and he is experienced. He has been elected councillor. He represents Mid-Island very well. He hasn't made any gaffes, or he watches his words very carefully and so on, which is good for cabinet. He doesn't embarrass the government and so on. No, I have fully expected him to somehow be selected in cabinet. It could be that for the time being, there could be a perception, maybe I'm just speculating here, that while he's easily re-elected again, where someone like McRae over in Comox, he'll have a real tough battle, and perhaps maybe he got the cabinet post to represent Vancouver Island, or that part of Vancouver Island, on hopes that he would still be re-elected in the next election. But usually you still like to, under the present circumstances, express, I have an experienced caucus, I have an experienced cabinet. And given some of the weaknesses of the backbench, I think this would have been an appropriate time to bring Canalan right in there to represent Vancouver Island, and also for the Premier to say, I have someone experienced who knows how to handle a cabinet post.
Doesn't look very good at all for the provincial government, the Liberal Party, to get another mandate in office. As all the polls coming out, a new one out just recently has the NDP with 46% of the vote, 25% for the Liberal Party, so up 3 percentage points, and the Conservative Party in the mix as well with 19%. And what do you read into the situation provincially right now? What do the Liberals have any hope in hell of getting back in government come next May? Well,
they may have some traction, and the attraction may actually come from, ironically enough, the NDP might form the government. That's the one card that Premier Clark is playing over and over and over again. But it only goes so far. And after a while, people will say, well, no, this is a new bunch that are now ahead of the NDP. Let's see what they can do. And besides, we're going through this apparent cycle, which we've gone through twice before in this province, of essentially getting the established, or what I call the natural governing party of British Columbia, together again, and they've split apart. And there is deep disorganization, as I see it, in terms of running a government. There's all kinds of problems now, whether it's the Attorney General's ministry, there needs to be a lot of work to be done there, as well as a number of other ministries. And there are some challenges in health, education, and so on that the Liberals haven't really put behind them. So on that basis, I don't know where the traction may come from. The numbers that we see in the latest poll, I think the Liberals may actually increase maybe 2 or 3 percentage points. But that's about it. Unless something quite different happens out of the clear blue, I really don't see the numbers really changing a lot.
And in the meantime, you have Adrian Dix, leader of the official opposition, the NDP. They're laying low right now. They're not putting all their cards out on the table in sort of a platform. What kind of a strategy is at play there? What is the NDP, with next May's election quickly approaching? How do they go to the electorate and show them what potentially a mandate could be?
Yeah, that's a good question, because a lot of people want the NDP to express their platform now, because there is still plenty of time to take cracks at it. And so it is a very wise strategy, in my view, to say, no, we're not in a hurry to display our platform yet. And as a matter of fact, if the NDP play their cards right, they will not release their platform until the new year. So everybody can just hang on until then. There's plenty of time for that. And you never know, if the NDP sort of lays out their own kind of red book, whatever you want, orange book or whatever, if they lay that out just a few months before the next election, that's sufficient time for everyone to react to it. So for the time being, no, right now we're not in the final stages yet of the election cycle. But it's a smart strategy to just sit back and see, well, what are the Liberals doing?
And before we wrap up here, Allan, there could be an interesting local dimension with an NDP government. Leonard Krogh is a strong member of the NDP caucus, and he would likely get a high profile and almost a surety cabinet post with the government. What kind of impact could that have on the mid-Vancouver Island Nanaimo region with a pretty powerful man in government?
Well, I think it'll make a big difference. Perhaps maybe it's sort of interesting to compare that with one of your earlier questions. Leonard Krogh, as I see it, will probably get a high profile post. I'm betting Attorney General. because he's had a strong interest in there. But he's a good voice for the Mid-Island as well. And actually, I've come across small C conservatives around Nanaimo who have a lot of respect for Leonard Krogh, no matter whether he is with the NDP. So I think he's going to be that kind of strong voice, and he'll contribute a lot to the center of the future of our province for the next 4 years.
Excellent, thanks so much. That's Allan Warnke. He's a political science professor at Vancouver Island University. Fascinating discussion. Thanks a lot for coming on, Allan. Appreciate it.
My pleasure.
In the studio here is Harley Smith. Welcome, Harley. Thank you for being here.
Well, thanks for the invite, Tara.
Absolutely. You serve beer, so of course we're going to have you on SHAW TV. Matt is happy about that because he's going to help with the tastings. And you're the head brewer of Longwood Brew Pub. And
That's right.
Yes, and I just want to let the folks know how much you give to the community. Longwood Brew Pub, you, Harley, very impressive what you do with our community here.
Well, thank you.
Yes. So we're going to talk beer.
That's what I like to talk about.
Yes, that's you're an expert.
Specialty.
Your specialty, yes. So what I want to know is about the history. Let's start with the history and we can go from there to the present moment of beer. So the history involved with brewed beer, or the brewing process of beer.
Well, I guess beer in general has been around since, ancient times, Egyptian times.
Oh, wow.
Probably discovered by accident, making some bread out there in the field, and your dinner runs by, you have to go kill it, and they come back, it's rained in, and you've suddenly got a glass full of beer.
I had no idea that the Egyptians started off drinking beer. Wow.
Yeah, in fact, I think there was a brewery out on the East Coast that duplicated an Egyptian recipe written in hieroglyphics somewhere.
Oh, wow. Neat.
Yeah.
So now with the brewing process, because I know when you go to the Longwood Brew Pub, you see how everything is being brewed there. How does that, tell us, walk us through the steps if you could, because it's quite interesting.
Well, I brought along a little prop here with me.
Yes, we like props.
This is our dry beer. That's a joke, by the way. We've got a couple different colors of grain in here. So, of course, you need 4 ingredients to make beer. You've got your malted barley.
Okay.
We've got some hops here. These are
this
Vancouver Island grown hops.
This is hops, okay. Where do you grow the hops here?
Hops are grown, well, you can grow them almost anywhere. Like a lot of people grow them in their backyards. It's a nice vining plant that puts out these little green flowers that make an awesome spicy flavor in the beer. So all the color for beer comes from the malt, different combinations of the malt. You've got a black malt, crystal malts, and then your regular base malt. So,
sorry, I don't know a lot about the whole process of brewing beer. So the darker ones, is that for the dark beers, and this is for the medium and the light beers, or?
Pretty much, yeah. That's exactly how it works. This beer, if this was made into a beer, would probably look like a nice brown ale, like our Dunkelweizen, for instance.
Okay.
You need yeast, which is what ferments the sugar into alcohol and carbon dioxide, and voila. Basically, we're controlling natural reactions.
Okay, and how long does this whole process take when you brew a batch of beer, how long does it take from the beginning to the end?
It varies. The quickest beers that we have to put out go out in about 3 weeks.
Oh, gosh.
Lagers take a little bit longer. They're long, slow, cold fermentation. We've got some barley wine that takes about a year before we put it on tap. So
nice.
All sorts of different flavors.
Well, thank you for that. So now we've talked about the history, and our next segment is we're going to be doing tastings, which is the fun part.
Yahoo.
So yes, we'll be drinking beer on the next there. So we're going to go back to the talented, the amazing Daniel Wesley with Andrew there.
Thanks, Tara. Better save some of that beer for us. Thanks so much, Daniel, for coming out. Love to have you here. You've been on so many sold-out shows. You've done shows with Public Enemy and Sublime and Matthew Good. What's the favorite show that you've ever played?
I think it was probably with the Olympics when we played down in Yaletown. There was they threw a bunch of parties down there, and we got a headline one of the nights right along the harbor there. There was over 10,000 people, and just to be part of the Olympics, I think everybody that was Canadian or even just from the Vancouver general area, even from the island here, everybody really came together and had a beautiful time. And I don't think I've played for such a diverse crowd, people from traveling all over the world just to be there for Olympics and probably stumbled in or else diehard fans. So it was a definitely unique experience, and I'll always remember it.
Excellent.
Yeah.
You've got a new baby on the way. Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
It's still very small, growing, but yeah, excited to. In March, we're having our first child, my wife and I, and really excited to start be a father. And my dad was such a great dad, and her dad's a great dad, and we've got great role models and a big family. So my brother just had his first baby, so we're really excited about bringing another one on board and growing our family even bigger.
Excellent. Is that going to change in any way your writing or your touring? You know, bringing.
I don't know. I mean, writing-wise, it might, but I think if anything, it'll bring even more experience and life skills and challenges to. You know, I think it'll definitely. I won't have as much time to write right now. I just kind of write whenever I want to, and I think then I think when you're a parent, you kind of have to figure out your scheduling and figuring out exactly when you're going to have time to do certain things. So my freedom will definitely be shrunken down, but that might be a good thing. I might be able to focus a little bit more when I have my time. And as far as touring, I'll continue touring, but there'll definitely be, you know, thinking about not being away for 7 or 8 weeks at a time if I can avoid it. Try to do a couple weeks or 3 weeks here and there and then be home. So definitely take a little bit of time off in between having a baby and touring. So
excellent. And a new album on the way, possibly?
Yeah, no, for sure. We've got these shows out here on the island with your company, and we're excited for those. And then when I get back for the next 3 weeks, we're going to be in the practice room jamming and figuring out which songs work and which ones don't. And then starting October 15th, we're in the studio at Mushroom Studios in Vancouver to record for 3 weeks. A new album there.
Nice. We're looking forward to hearing that. Silly question now. What is your favorite movie, book, and food?
Those are all, I think I have 100 for each. But I guess maybe movie, I always loved the movie Braveheart growing up. That was Mel Gibson in his glory days.
That's right.
And I have a little bit of Scottish background, so I just remember that huge sword and the whole story of William Wallace being so cool as a young kid. So movie, I guess, and book, Charles Bukowski. I love Charles Bukowski. Ham on Rye is a great book. And then food.
Don't say calamari.
No, I know you don't like that. Mexican food. I love Mexican food. Anything
Right on.
Mexican.
Right on. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Daniel. We look forward to hearing more from you. And you can check out Daniel at danielwesley.com. Sorry, and also on Facebook. So take it away with you're going to be playing Family.
Why not? Yeah. Family.
Right on.
once again. That is Daniel Wesley, which curiously rhymes with Elvis Presley.
Oh, I never actually thought about that.
Well, there you go. Yeah. But I think it's probably a lot more, again, than a great name. That's really got Daniel up to being sort of one of the most recognized and successful Western Canadian musicians over the last decade. So, Daniel, great to have you here. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And again, if you haven't had a chance to check out a Daniel Wesley show, absolutely do so. Get there early. Tickets always sell out. And again, highly, highly recommended. All right. So, on the previous editions here of the show, I talked a little bit about harvest festivals and all the great food that comes to fruition at this time of the year. And that's why I'm completely at random holding this half a bagel. Lovely. But, you know, QUALICUM Beach, I guess I shouldn't talk with a mouthful. Sorry, Howie. QUALICUM Beach this month, they're having a harvest of a different kind. It's a harvest of music, and it's called just that. It's the QUALICUM Beach Harvest of Music at the old school, almost lost the bagel there, at the old Schoolhouse Arts Center in downtown QUALICUM Beach. It's 4 days of amazing classical music in a classy venue in a town where I took classes back in grade 2, and I wore some classic Nikes. Anyway, it's kind of random. You're going to hear world-class vocalists, pianists, flautists, guitarists performing a variety of music from older eras, finished off by a Sunday afternoon cornucopia jam. Not to be confused with the Sunday afternoon peanut butter and jam, which always happens in my house, that's for sure. Anyways, the festival I'm talking about, it runs from Thursday, September 27th until Sunday, September 30th. All shows beginning at 12 noon, except for the Sunday show, which starts at 2:30 p.m. Tickets can be purchased from the Old Schoolhouse Arts Center or by phone, 250-752-6133. The number again, 250-752-6133. Operators are standing by. All right, you can also check out harvestofmusic.com for more information, but now, as I try to remove all the lettuce from my teeth, I'm going to pass the baton over to Lorraine Jensen. She's going to find out how we can all participate in the Run for the Cure, an incredible fundraiser. So Lorraine, over to you.
Thanks, Matt. I have the extreme honor today of interviewing Mary Connelly and Ruth Christmas. Mary is a 10-year-plus survivor of breast cancer, and Ruth, you're here representing...
I'm one of the volunteer run directors for the Canadian Breast Cancer Foundation CIBC Run for the Cure here in Nanaimo.
That's why I asked her to say it, because the word lame is so long. and what does the CIBC Run for the Cure represent, Ruth?
The CIBC Run for the Cure is Canada's largest single-day volunteer-led fundraising event for creating a future without breast cancer.
Wow. And you've been doing this for quite some time, and I just want to celebrate you for the work that you do. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And Mary, you're a survivor of over 10 years, fabulous, and I've had a fabulous conversation with you over the last 2 days, and it's been wonderful. Now, Mary, you were 42 when you went for your second annual mammogram and had no idea that you were going to be getting the call that said that you had breast cancer. How did you react to the news?
Initially, I was fearful. I felt my body had betrayed me. I felt lonely. I was working in palliative care as a nurse in the community, and most of the people that I saw were dying with breast cancer or some sort of cancer, because that's what palliative was or is. And so it was scary for me initially. And then what happened? You had tests, and well, I had an X-ray, and then I had a needle biopsy, and then from there I had surgery, and then I had radiation.
Wow, wow. And you said that you felt like your body betrayed you, I heard you just say. What was that like? Well, I mean, I exercised, I had a regular, a proper diet, and then, you ask yourself, why is this happening to me? How come I got it? You go through denial, you go through shock, and all kinds of emotions. So it was different. Yeah, I can understand. I can, and as we've had the conversation, and many of us can. So today, there's somebody very close, very dear to my heart. Her sister-in-law is right now having a mastectomy up in Campbell River. And what would you say to her now, being 10 years on the other side from where she's at today? What would you say to her? Well, I think the first thing is depending on the person, I think you want to reach out to someone else that's gone through it. There's great support in identifying. I mean, you can have your friends and your family support you, which is a great thing to have, but it's also a great thing to talk to someone that's been down that road and traveled in those shoes. So there's a great deal of comfort in that. Take a family or a friend to your appointments with you so that they can help remind you of where you're supposed to be when and what your chemo is going to be like. They tell you 5 days on, 10 days off or whatever.
and it's too much to handle at one time. So it's good to take someone to write notes to kind of keep you on track. Join a dragon boat team. Nanaimo's got a great team, Nanaimo Angels Abreast, that I paddle with. I've started an international team, and I've met incredible women all over the world. And there's support in that, and we're out there supporting other women around the world. We met women in the Philippines last year. This year it was Israel and Turkey. We've done Singapore, and International Pink Sisters has also done Switzerland.
Wow.
We had a great woman with us in our boat in Switzerland. She was turning 80, and they celebrated her life, and she said, "I'm not 80 yet, I'm not 80 yet." And then the other women that were there, because they were 2 regular teams that we raced against that were all women, not breast cancer, at that one race, and they came out of the boat and they were going, "We were beat by breast cancer women, and one of them was 80. So there's a lot of support out there, and all you have to do is reach for it.
Thank you.
The Run for the Cure is a great organization, and I think between the dragon boating and the Run for the Cure, we've worked hand in hand together throughout the years, and I think it's helped promote breast cancer awareness, taken it out of the closet, and with that, I think it's helped promote other cancers.
Thank you, Mary. Quick question for Ruth, because we're running out of time. Where and when is the Run for the Cure?
Sunday, September 30th, and here in Nanaimo it takes place at Bevan Park. Registration begins at 8:30 a.m., opening ceremonies 9:30 a.m., and then the run starts at 10 a.m.
Okay, and what are the 3 words that people can do to support the cause?
Participate, donate, or volunteer.
Participate, donate, or volunteer. Yes. And on that note, I want to thank you and turn it over to KAYLA, who is going to be teaching us how to dance.
Thanks, Lorraine. Thanks for joining us on the show. I get to try some contemporary dancing. I've got Holly right here from the Crimson Coast Dance Studio Society.
Crimson Coast Dance Society.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, cool.
And
cool.
We're going to work on KAYLA's inner choreographer.
Yes, I'm going to try my hand at dancing. This should be interesting. But first of all, I want you to tell me a bit about contemporary dance. What is it?
It is a genre of dance that, by its very name, constantly redefines itself. It's always contemporary, always relevant to what's happening globally, politically, socially. The art form itself has only been around since the 20s, as opposed to some of the more familiar forms such as ballet, which has been around since the 1600s. So it's a very young art form. It's sometimes it's very literal and sometimes it's abstract, and by that I don't mean it's indecipherable, I mean that it's layered with metaphor. So it usually has lots of meaning and layers of meaning, and that allows a little something for everyone in the audience.
Okay, so how do contemporary dancers come up with their pieces?
Lots of different ways. A lot of them are inspired by music, and some are inspired by ideas or political issues. And some use imagery, and I thought that we would use imagery.
Okay.
So we'll use a little. There are lots of techniques for choreographing, and what I'd like to do is start with imagery, and I'd like to ask you to show us a move that for you would somehow, if you were to make your own sign language, would say "in my heart."
Okay, if you could hold that for me, I'll try that. Are we gonna have a little music, or am I just doing this freestyle?
Oh, let's just do it without.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Without.
Just something like this.
In my heart.
Yes.
In my heart.
In my heart.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then let's see. How about the night sky? Any movement that would represent the night sky to you, or showing us the night sky. And I'll just do that too.
Very calm, very serene, very...
It's almost like you are the night sky.
Yeah, you become...
And your hands are the stars or something.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I do that.
That's exactly what I was going for, actually.
And then let's say hiding. How would you show me hiding? So, hiding. So if we said, if we composed, we'll string those together.
Okay.
And we'll compose a phrase that says, the night sky is hiding in my heart.
Okay.
So show us the night sky.
Okay, that was
is hiding in my heart. Beautiful. Can we have some music? So we're going to try this with music, and I'll do it with you. Would you show me?
Okay, okay, no problem.
So the night sky. I'll stand at an angle. Did we go up the front?
Yeah, up the front and then down the side.
Is hiding in my heart. Beautiful, nice. Now we're gonna do that again. Cut the music, please. So a lot of times when we choreograph, we don't know exactly what the composer is gonna bring. Okay. You can either start knowing, or you can hire a composer and ask them to create a piece of music, which might come in later in the process. So we will work on the choreography, and then the music comes in later, and we get the opportunity as a dancer to interpret the music with the movement that we know.
Okay.
So let's do the same movement. Let's do it really slow once, and then we'll do it 3 times really fast.
Oh, okay.
As fast as we can.
Oh,
and
this
we
should
may
be
not be
interesting.
together, but we'll try it. And you
We'll try.
face this way.
Okay.
And I'll face this way.
All right.
And is the music ready? Yep. Go music.
Okay.
Okay. The night sky. Nice and slow. Is hiding in my heart. And let's do that fast. The night sky. Again. And again. Oops, I mixed the 2. And that might be a mistake that we would keep. And one more time. The night sky is hiding in my heart. And maybe we can lower down.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. I only have time for a couple more questions here, but this is the event. It's Leaving Traces. Can you tell us a little bit about what to expect?
These are emerging choreographers. We have a choreographer from Vancouver who is making Nanaimo her home part-time, and 4 local Nanaimo choreographers who are showing their work for the first time at the professional level. Young girls who've been working for a long time in our community, and they've been playing with lots of different ways to bring movement to form, just like we did, only their own voice is coming through. And it's September 29th at 8 o'clock at MALASPINA Theatre at VIU, and tickets are available at crimsoncoastdance.org.
All right, well, thank you so much. I wish I had more time to chat with you. I know I'm excited about this event, and I hope you are too. Get your tickets soon. Go to www.crimsoncoast.org. And now I'm going to see how Tara's doing and see if she's found her inner dancer. Tara.
Me again. We're going to talk about beer with Harley. We have dancing. Daniel Wesley doesn't get much better, and more beer. Yay. So now what we're going to talk about is we're going to do some tastings here. But before we do that, can you just, what I want to know is what kind of beers do we have at the Longwood Brew Pub? And what did you bring here today? I guess we'd start with those.
I brought 3 beers that we have at the Longwood Brew Pub. We've got this one here, which is our Imperial Stout. Nice big heavy beer. Here we've got one of our popular ones, a Framboise. This is a raspberry ale.
I love that one. That's my favorite one.
And then we've got an India Pale Ale.
Oh yeah, IPA.
Which is a good demonstration of what hops taste like in a beer.
Perfect. Now,
all of these are available at Longwood. And then we've got a host of other beers. We've got some Pilsner, we've got Longwood Ale, we've got Scottish beers, Irish beers, all sorts of beers.
You name it, you have it. How many do you have all together? I'd like to know how many you have.
We serve 9 at any one time, but over the course of the year, we'll probably do about 20 or 30 different styles.
Okay. Now, what I want to know is what's the difference between is there a different brewery process with the different beers that you brought here, or is it all brewed the same but just different ingredients?
They all have the same sort of base ingredients, malted barley, hops, water, and yeast, but different combinations of hops, different combinations of barley. Of course, the Framboise, it's got lots of whole fresh raspberries added to it that gives it this insane red color and a big berry nose.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And what I like is we're going to have real interactive TV because you didn't bring, because you didn't bring an opener. So you're going to use the wedding ring opener.
On the fly.
On the fly.
Love this one. Shall I start pouring?
Sure. And we have Matt Carter here. I think he's hiding because he's going to be our official taster because he is the beer guru here. Because unfortunately I can't taste, so.
Ta-da.
Ta-da!
I can't wait to get married.
Bought by my wife. For the guy who loves beer. So Matt, we're going to start you off here with the nice pink beer. This is the Framboise. Let me pour myself a little
Sort
of
of
that
the
too.
same color as my cheeks after I have about 5 of these, so that's good. That's good.
Cheers,
so,
man.
Cheers.
All right. Take a little sniff. Get that big berry nose off the front. Very nice. I want a little taste of it. Not like wine, you don't spit, you just swallow the beer.
Yes,
we
that's
like,
the way it
we like to
should
enjoy
be,
it.
yes.
Efficient. Yeah,
It's
very
very
nice.
efficient.
Exactly, yeah. It's not sweet
we'll
like a juice.
save that one
though,
for you. No, not at all. It's got a
nice
nice dryness to it. It's good summer beer. Actually, we're going to go from here to the stout. And
What
once
is
again,
your
ta-da,
favorite
there
one?
we
'Cause
are.
I know you're an expert.
It's that one exactly right there, yeah.
This one right here.
When I first started drinking beers, my old adage was if you can't see your hand through the back of the glass, it's got to be a good beer. So of course I was drinking lots of stouts and Guinness and that sort of stuff.
Very nice.
So.
That's usually not how people start drinking beer.
Well, there was that one bad macro lager thing we don't talk about, but
yeah.
So Imperial Stout.
Okay, so this is an Imperial Stout. This is a pretty old style of beer. This was originally brewed in England and exported to St. Petersburg, Russia. It was, quite a heavy beer. This one's about 8% alcohol, which is a little bit low for Imperials, but it's pretty high, a high test for beer. Really thick, lots of black malt. And cheers again.
Nice.
Just so I remembered it. Yeah,
that's.
It's one of those things. Yeah, for a lot of folks may have tried some of these. It really has a sort of almost a coffee essence to it. That roast you get.
Yeah.
The
In
roast
fact, we used a roasted barley, a chocolate barley, and a black patent barley to get that real robust, dark flavor.
Robust, thick. Yeah, wonderful stuff. Absolutely.
It's very nice with all sorts of red meats and. Even good to go with chocolate cake for dessert.
Oh my gosh, there you go. Chocolate cake with stout.
Well with me too.
Yeah.
Goes well with Matt Carter's as well.
We're going to wrap up and it looks like we're going to have a bit of a beer party after here at Shaw TV. Only at Shaw TV.
I'll have one more crisp try here of the India Pale Ale and wrap it up again.
Okay.
Thanks so much again to Harley from the Longwood Brew Pub.
Yes, thank you.
My pleasure.
Making our show more fun, Harley.
Cheers.
Absolutely. Cheers to that as well.
All right.
India Pale Ale, down it goes.
Lots of hops on the nose there.
Ooh, that's hoppy, eh?
Yeah, a lot of hops, a lot of, sort of get that plant flavor through there, the hop essence. It's in a good way, in a very good way.
In a good way, yes.
Exactly. No, I like that again. I'm getting more into the hoppy beers, and they seem to have a bit of a renaissance around.
There's a term called a hop head. These are guys that like the beers hoppy and bitter.
Awesome. All right, well, thanks so much, Harley. Thanks so much, Tara, as well, for allowing me to come in here and taste these Longwood beers. And after all, I do love a couple of tall Kolsch ones. And, instead of me, you could have gone to a forest and got a big group of loggers to come down to it, but they were probably busy watching Bach to the Future, or the sequel, of course, Doppelbach to the Future. Both of them are slam dunkles. So anyways, 'tis the saison for good beers, for the cure, of course, what ails you. And I say that, of course, with stout conviction. Of course, that pale ale's in comparison to what our technician Stas Bobkov likes to say. He's from the Ukraine, so he says that with Russian imperial stout conviction. And he's also, of course, very, very big and smart, and so they call that real Hefeweizen. Big, smart Hefeweizen. All right, before a team of... Sorry, Harley. Before a team of bitter porters hops in and carry out of me here, and I'll have to say, hey, take a chill pill, Zner. All right, and we'll have to barley wind it up here before this ends up in the Guinness Book of World Records. We must thank all of our guests, of course, and our hardworking volunteers and staff in front of the cameras, behind the cameras, in the back of the scenes. You can find Shaw TV, of course, on Facebook and on Twitter. Check out previous episodes of this here show on YouTube. And again, I'm going to jump into with Tara and all the folks here and finish off these beers. So thank you very much for starting out the show here on Shaw TV. It's a wonderful show again, and thank you for watching.
We should always have beer on our show.
Absolutely, not a bad place.